What is the biggest thing that you've learned about these guys through 2 games?
Oh man, what a heck of a question. Uh, we got some guys who can make shots, and so even when you know we don't play as well as we want to, man, I tell y'all all the time for years, last couple of years, I've said I got this friend Tim Maloney, and we would be in staff meetings and we'd have all these plans, how we need to guard this, how we need to do that, what we need to do, and he would be quiet the whole meeting. And then at the end of the meeting, he'd get up and go, "I hope we make shots." That's all he'd say. "I hope we make shots," and he would walk out the meeting, and that's what it boils down to is, man, you gotta make shots. So you gotta do some other things too, but if you make shots, it solves a lot of problems.
And then with LSU coming in, obviously there's a very notable member of that roster who played 2 years here. You guys, I'm sure, still have a very good relationship. A lot of the guys that are on the team right now don't have that relationship, but some do. How is that kind of being handled?
No, we haven't really said much about it. We love Cam Carter. Cam did a lot for our program. He believed in us as a staff when, a lot of people didn't. And, I felt like, and we believed in him, and he, for 2 years, he was a really, really good player for us. And with the nature of college basketball, he got to capitalize on that and be able to go back, be close to home to his family too. So, it was a double blessing for him. So, man, super thankful for Cam's time here, and, absolutely love him, and just hope he doesn't play well.
You think Achor will be on track to play this week?
Yeah. Oh man, he had a few good days now, and mentally he's in a good spot, and physically he's back. So I expect him to play.
So I want to ask a little bit more about Brendan. You've noted that he didn't play a ton at Villanova, or at least not the minutes he's getting now. Is there anything that surprised you about the way he's been able to just get in here and contribute as much as he had in a larger role?
Nah, not at all. I expected the Joker to play like this from his freshman year. I watched him in high school. His toughness, his competitiveness, his shot-making ability. He's just a gamer, man, like a winner. And so him playing the way he's playing, and knowing the type of confidence that his high school coaches had in him, one of them being his dad, I just know that if you breathe confidence into him, he can do it. And now I'm challenging him to, be a defender, right? Like, not be the guy that the other team thinks they can pick on. And I believe he's going to respond to that.
Coach, looking back on the game, how excited were you for Bai and what he did and his potential moving forward?
Yeah, Bai's been practicing well. He's been doing a lot of the extra things that he needed to do to put himself in a position to play. He's extra lifts. He's taking his nutrition seriously. I think he's up to 215 pounds now, and just making really good decisions off the floor that's allowing him to be able to be productive on the floor. And this morning, he had a really good practice today, and he told me, he said, I ate a real breakfast this morning. I didn't just eat fruit. And so he's taking steps towards getting to where he needs to get to, and it's a growth process for him, and so very, very happy for him. You tell guys hard work pays off, and it comes at different times, but to see it, coming about, it's exciting for him.
I understand Doug's played a lot of basketball, but it's new here. Do you feel like he's kind of starting to get settled to where he needs to be?
Yeah, he's growing. He's growing, just playing the point guard for us is a little different than playing the point guard elsewhere. And there's a whole lot more responsibilities, and seeing the game the way I see it, and then him learning that. And then, once he embraces that, in which he has, and he's really starting to take some ownership of some things, and then I'll get to start seeing the game the way he sees it, and then we can see it continue to rise. But it's it's going to take some time. It's a process, and so I'm not disappointed where we're at, and I'm excited about where we're heading.
Could you say similar things about Ugo? I know he he has much more in the tank, so to speak.
Yeah, it's going to take. It takes time, but every guy has to do their job, and players determine playing time, and so it's competitive, man. You can only put 5 on the floor at one time, and so every day those guys have to come to practice and bring it, and if they do their jobs, they determine the playing time.
In the past, whenever you would be preparing for games early in the season, you normally had the year's footage before to kind of look back on, look at that film. Now with teams being so jumbled and everything, how much harder is it to prepare for an LSU team that's only played a couple games?
No, that's a really good question, and it's a good point. The good thing is, like, it's harder when it's new players and a new coach. Coach McMahon's been there for 3 years now. This is our 3rd year playing them, so we got a little feel of what they like to do. Maybe we'll do things a little bit different. Obviously, you don't have Will Baker, so it's not a pick and pop from the 5 as much as might be a pick and roll, a lot of things, and so it makes it a little bit different. New players. Good thing is we can go pull some old footage and see what it is they like to do, and but the same struggle we have in preparing for them, teams have been preparing for us, so we're all on an equal playing field.
What are maybe 1 or 2 areas specifically that you really most like to improve on right now?
Defensive ball screen coverage. We have to get better. We didn't do a very good job last game on that. And then rebounding. If we can, our first shot defense, I think is, we're top 5 in the country, our first shot defense. Right, and it's just if we can go retrieve the basketball, and so if we can do that's really going to help us.
If you could put in a kind of a thumbnail sketch, tell us a little bit about LSU and the challenge they present.
The 5-out offense that they run. Multiple guys out there who can make shots. Sears, the guard. I mean, really, really good. I think he was number 2 in the country in ball screen offense last year. Only behind Doug McDaniels, and he's just a terrific player, and you can't feed him a steady diet of one thing because he's gonna figure it out for you. And then obviously Cam can make shots, man, and just so when you have 2 guards who can do that, and then Jalen Reed, and Jalen played AAU basketball for one of my best friends, Omar Carter, God rest his soul, and so I've known him for a while, and just a terrific talent. They have some older guys too, and who know how to play, and their 3rd year together with coach, and so they pose a lot of problems, and they're always going to guard you, right? They're always going to compete and guard you, and that's so it'll be a great challenge. I'm thankful that we get to play them at home. And with our crowd, and so I'm excited about that.
Yeah. What are you? Speaking of the crowd, what are you expecting for this game?
Man, I'm expecting a sellout. That's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting every seat filled and the student section to be rocking, and just super excited about that.
Do you have any insights so far about anyone, if anyone, will redshirt this year?
Yeah, no, we're not redshirting anybody.
For David Castillo, how important is it for him to learn and play along with older guards like CJ and Doug?
No, it's really good for him, right? Like this struggle that he is going through, right? Like every player goes through it and has to go through it, and he's playing a hard position, and it's not easy to play the point guard for me. Right, it's not, and but I've been blessed to coach like at least 8 all-conference point guards, right? So there's there's something to it, right? And so, but I I told our staff there, that's like every time he shoots it, I believe it's going in. So I want him to fail aggressively if he's going to fail. Like don't fail passively. And so it's really good that he has CJ and Doug, but he's going to be just fine. He's going to be just fine. I expect him to because he works at it, and so.
What makes it so hard to be a point guard for your team?
I just demand a lot of them, right? Like they get a whole lot of freedom because people always talk about, man, he lets his guards get off. Well, y'all not with me every day in practice, right? And I demand a lot of them. Every turnover is their fault. Every time a play is ran incorrectly, it's their fault, right? They have to be able to do something and it not work, and then have the confidence when I get on them about it to do it again and make it work, and then smile at me and wink. That's so you got to have that kind of confidence, like, because otherwise, like, coaches hate. I always say, for me, I don't want a guy who does everything I tell him to do and a guy who does nothing I tell him to do. There's got to be like a little bit in between because they're players, right? And they see something, they make a play, and so what I saw. And if it doesn't work out, they hit me with the "my bad, coach," and then the next time they go make that play again, and so it takes a certain level of confidence and mental toughness and an emotional maturity to be able to handle what we do every day at practice. But if you can do that, then on game day, right, you get to play 40 minutes of freedom.
Turnovers were up a little bit the last game, but do you see that just as typical of early games? That's going to maybe be a little bit up and down until maybe the roles are a little more defined and everything?
I don't think it had anything to do with defining roles. I think we were up 20 and the guys like relaxed, and we had some like just careless turnovers, some like not being strong with the ball and getting it slapped out of our hands, or a dribble handoff that we were lackadaisical on how we were going from one spot to the next. The defender tipped the ball, and jumping in the air and throwing some passes because we were up. And so we have to learn how to handle success and build on leads.